Star Wars Rebels Season 2, Episode 4, Always Two There Are. Now, I wanted to start off this episode using my lightsaber because I don't really do it during reviews too often. I don't use it very often at all, except for like a couple of seconds. But this was obviously a lightsaber-centric episode, so had to start it off this way. It's super loud, that's why I have it. You can't really hear it now, but if I take it off, off of my pants for muffling the sound, it's like that. So, had to start off that way because this episode was obviously all about just the amazing action of the Jedi versus the Sith. And in this case, we got to see the two new Inquisitors, both of which I love, because not only do we get to meet these new Inquisitors for the first time, but we really get a lot of their personality as far as how far ahead each of them thinks for plans, and really how they even feel towards each other, because neither of them seem to really be like, buddy-buddy. Like, I know the Sith aren't exactly known for, like, let's, really be a team and stuff like that. They kill each other all the time. It's like, oh, you lost this battle. Sorry, Master, you're dead now, and I'm actually going to kill you, even though you could totally just be, healed. You're weak now, so you die. I understand that, but this is just like, we get these two characters who all have the same goal. Both of them, I guess, I don't know, I said all, but they both have the same goal, which is to find Ahsoka. And they get this, signal that the ship is powered up because Chopper turns on the entire thing, which seems like nothing, but that's how they get the signal out. And we get these two people, they come in, we get to actually see the woman's face, which was kind of surprising because I thought that the robot voice, the kind of distortion that they do, was because of the mask, but that's actually her voice. And I love the voice for her character. I think is actually really awesome. The guy, I think he's okay. I think, honestly, if I had to pick one of the two, I would hope that she lived longer than he did, because I find her way more entertaining, because he's just like, sort of like a bulky guy type character who's angry, and she's like the cunning character, and I always find that more entertaining. But she also has like those little probe droids, which, she kind of uses as pets. She uses like a probe droid, and she uses those even smaller droids, which I don't believe those are considered probe droids, but they can, lock down on people. Like, they had Sabine, and she was locked down, and she had to shoot one off. And she kind of uses those as like her mini swarm to assist her in capturing the people she needs to capture. And I love that about her character. Like, the other guy, he just has his lightsaber and that's it. And she's, like, it's only one little addition, but it's an exciting addition. It makes it more dangerous when she has this little swarm of tiny robots that can, clamp down on you and electrocute you, or, well, shock you, because they aren't killing you. So they shock you and they lock you in place until you destroy them. And it was pretty entertaining to see that stuff happen. It was really cool. And this was a great sort of Halloween episode where they start off on the ship and it's kind of creepy and stuff. And it's Ezra, Sabine, Zeb, and Chopper. And they're the four going on this mission. It's supposed to be simple. We go into this derelict ship. We get the supplies, which they ran right past. And so that was it. That was the whole mission. Then they sent out an unintentional signal by charging up the ship, and we get a really, really great episode. We get to see the Inquisitors come in. They have their plans, both of them very separate, because the guy was just like, I'm going to kill Ezra now, and the woman has to stop him, and she's like, oh, I'm glad to see you made it. Or she said something like that, and it's like, they aren't really as much of a team as I thought they would have been. So that was very interesting. They weren't sent out really as partners. They were both just sent out. Like, your Inquisitors, you know each other because you've trained, and that's kind of it. You've just trained together and, go out and get Ahsoka Tano because that is your mission. So, they can take the same path or take the same mission and then branch off in very different paths, which they clearly show that they will be doing in later episodes. Just in this, their introduction, their first actual scene together is her stopping his lightsaber. That's just clear, for Star Wars, that's as clear as it gets when it comes to conflict. And even though they're on the same side, it's like, okay, we obviously have varying ideas on how to reach our goal. So I love that idea, that concept of these two people being on the same side, but not really being on the on the same level. So I certainly enjoyed that. That was pretty entertaining. Getting to see Ezra use his lightsaber, always really cool. And of course, he was defeated. He's not the strongest character yet. He's still a young Padawan. He's training, and he does hold his own. They all do. Sabine, Zeb, and Ezra, they all hold their own. Chopper really is the only person that doesn't, because he got taken out by the little droid. Everyone else, they at least ran or survived a little bit. Ezra kind of had Sabine go ahead of him so that he could try to fight off the female Inquisitor, which, of course, that did not work for him. But it was really fun. Like, I certainly enjoyed it, and it was a great action episode. We had Sabine and Ezra end up getting captured, but Zeb comes in, he saves the day. And then we had the ending scene when they actually escape. That was really awesome, because they were about to get trapped by these two Inquisitors even after like the final rescue. And really it only worked because they had to do like 3 different jobs at once. Like, the female Inquisitor couldn't hold the ship and close the gates at the same time. But if the guy was like, once again, like I said, they were kind of on the same level, they both just, brought the ship down and crashed it, or even just like crushed the back of the ship so it couldn't fly anyway, and just let it hit the floor. They would have been fine. They would have had their prisoners, and they would have got everything that they needed. But instead, he was kind of focused on deflecting, which they obviously needed to do, because if Sabine's shooting at you, you kind of don't want to get hit. You'll die. But it was really cool. I thought that was actually really awesome. It was like they're trying to keep the ship. They both start off doing that, and then, or they start off deflecting, I believe, and then they're both holding the ship, and then he goes to deflecting, and she's holding the ship basically with one hand, and then trying to open the gate, and then goes back, and then, they put the ship into like, full speed, and she just gets yanked forward, trying to hold on to it. So it's actually really awesome. It was like, it's cool to see. Even in that ending scene, they were trying to do the exact same thing, and they still managed to have 2 totally separate ideals on how that would work and how it should play out. But I certainly enjoyed it, because it was definitely entertaining. We finally got to see the Inquisitors, which couldn't wait to see. We got to see the full-on spinning version of the lightsaber, which is always lovely. So it started off as a single blade, which is cool, and then if I'm remembering right, we actually got to see it like open up, because initially it was just like, it was almost like a rapier where it had the saber go straight up, and then it had a guard on the front, which I don't think was the actual guard, but that's just how it looked. And then it popped open, and then the other side goes off, and then it's just spinning. I was like, oh, that's really cool. So we got to actually see it open. It wasn't like the full circle the whole time, which means that they can sort of mess around with it. It's either a full circle or half circle, so you can't mess around with that too much. But I thought that was kind of cool. It gives it just a slightly different style, because having like a full circle, just holding it in your hand and it goes like all the way around, that is a little different. You wouldn't think that would have any effect, but it can have a difference. Like, if your arm closes like that, that circle is going to be there to stop your hand from even just that slight movement. So little things like that actually can have a big difference, of course, through, with lightsaber battles. One touch, you can be done. So just those little touches make a huge difference, and I thought it was really cool that they actually took the time to show that those couple of seconds, this thing basically just pops open, and then the other half comes out, because, that was pretty cool. And I'd love to see them do both sides, and maybe just do the half circle, where they don't actually spin it around, but obviously, it's not as effective to do that unless you're trained that way, but it's also not that style of double-sided lightsaber. It's meant to be held with one hand, so it's not like a Darth Maul style where you can, do all the flips and spins like it's a bow staff. You would basically just be charging forward if you had both sides out, and you weren't, spinning them around and stuff automatically. But I loved it. The action was great. The creepy sense of style when they first get on the ship, I really loved. I even loved that just in the trailer alone. I was super excited for it. And I think this was definitely a great episode, and we got to see, it was introduced in the very beginning and then picked up at the very end, but Kanan talking with the clones and stuff, and he's kind of seeing how things are working and training Ezra, and then Ezra's learning from both his master as well as the clones, and Kanan didn't really take too kindly to that. Like, it's like, Rex is Rex is kind of telling him, like, you can use the Force, but you also got to see with your eyes. Battles, they say it like 3 or 4 times, battles aren't exactly going to be played fair. So you kind of have to use everything. Don't just use the Force, but use your natural senses as well. And I thought that was kind of cool. And Kanan, of course, didn't think it was cool because he's just like, he still got his issues with the clones, and it's like, you're telling me that I'm undisciplined and stuff like that. So it was pretty cool. And then they have the game where Kanan wins, and Rex makes it seem like he was teaching him a lesson the whole time by playing the chess game with him. But I definitely enjoyed this one. It was a fun episode. It was great to see the Inquisitors, which that's all I'd been waiting for. It was like, we get 2 Inquisitors now, just spinning lightsabers all over the freaking place. I can't help but love that. I really, like I said, I love the female Inquisitor more than the guy because, for one, I just love, cunning characters more than just the brute strength characters. But more than anything, it really is the fact that she has a slightly unique style, and it's through those little probe droids and the tiny attack droids that she uses. So I love that. The voice that they have for her is just really cool. Like, the guy, I think, just has a typical deep voice, but they gave her sort of a modulated pseudo-robotic voice, and I really think that sounds cool. Like I said, I thought it was from the mask, and then when they opened it up, that was something I was surprised by. I thought we'd never see her face, because the guy doesn't even have a mask, but hers, she uses it, and then they open it up. I was like, oh, that's cool. We actually get to see the face underneath, because I thought it was going to be, she's just like, almost a droid, like, based on, like, her design. When she has the mask closed, it's almost like she's a full-on droid when you think about it, because it's just, like, all they wear is black and gray, so it's like the grayscale. It's either light gray to jet black, and that's really it. And with that face mask, you can't see anything of her body, and the same goes for the Grand Inquisitor, for the last guy from season 1, and the male Inquisitor for this season. Like, nothing on them really stands out. Like, the male Inquisitor from the last season, he didn't have a hat, so it was just like, he's full on white skin, and you could see, like, the details in his face. But for these two, it's kind of like, nothing to it. And even the guy's face is almost matching, like, blending in with his clothing. It's just, he has, like, gray and black skin. But she's a little different. It's still in the gray tone. Like, it's still really grayed out, but it's green. Like, she's definitely, like, greenish yellow. And it's just sort of a pale version of it. So I think that really works. And I like her a lot more than the other guy. And I really want to see them fight. I feel like that's what this is leading to just from this first episode with these two characters. It's leading to a fight between them. And I can't wait to see that. I don't know how it's going to play out. If it would be sort of a, like, they deal with each other, but at the same time it's like, you know what, let's take out the Jedi first and then deal with each other, or how that's going to play out. But I feel like just from that first little encounter where they clash lightsabers, it instantly says they're going to have an issue that grows beyond their mission, where maybe the guy will be more concerned about the glory, and, the female Inquisitor is going to have to be like, well, I just don't want to die, so screw you, and then they're going to have to fight each other. But even if that doesn't happen, I love this episode. Great to see the Inquisitors come into action. Of course, we got, like, the ending with Kanan where he was really worried. He's like, he had no idea that there were other Inquisitors, and he even says, like, we have no idea what we're up against, so there could be a ton more Inquisitors. We don't know if there's some sort of Sith Academy happening, because they just have Inquisitors all around and stuff like that. And the woman makes it seem like it's on a pretty big scale. She was like, when the Grand Inquisitor perished, it did, it saddened a lot of people and surprised people, but it also opened up opportunities for a lot of us to move around, she said. Or it was similar to that. So there are multiple people. There are quite a few Inquisitors, and who knows how that's going to play out, but either way, it's exciting. So looking forward to the rest of the season. Great episode as far as I'm concerned. But of course, I want to know what you guys thought about it. So please comment below. Let me know your favorite parts, your least favorite parts. And I want to know who your favorite Inquisitor is out of these two. I mean, I won't put in the last guy, not just because he's dead, but I feel like it would be unfair to pit these two new characters with the old Inquisitor, because he was the only one, and he already had a full season. So we got to see him kind of grow as a villain for the last season. So it wouldn't be fair, like, this is their actual introduction basically their introduction in the show. And then, you know, compared to his every episode he was in the last season, it's kind of an unfair comparison. But I want to know who you like out of the male Inquisitor and the female Inquisitor, because these are our two villains for now. And who knows who we'll end up with by the end of the season, but this is what we got so far, and I definitely want to know what you guys think about them, so please comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.